We are here,
Let him cook now.
live in the flesh. Chat, what is going on? It is a beautiful Sunday, March 9th. Chat, how we doing? I hope everyone's having a beautiful, blessed morning, day, or night, wherever you guys are. How we feeling, guys? I woke up this morning. I was a little sick. My whole body was aching. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to wake up fully. Went to the bathroom, washed my face, got some emergency, that the little packets with like all the extra vitamin C. Just poured it in my water, was chugging. I still have some left. Then, I went to mass. Mass was absolutely wonderful. Had to give praise and glory to the only true God, the triune God. It was wonderful. I feel amazing. Just going to mass every Sunday is just, it's like, I keep saying this. It's like being like filthy dirty and then jumping straight in a hot steaming shower with some cocoa butter body scrub and just washing your hair. It just feels amazing. And no, I was not spreading the sickness. I started feeling better on my way there. I feel better now. I do feel like I'm kind of low on energy, but we're going to make this happen. All right, guys, we're going to make it happen with this beautiful 11:42. All right. As always, guys, super chatting, donations, all of that, guys, that's only optional. No one here is obligated to do any of that. But if you guys choose to go above and beyond with memberships and super chats or whatever, the best way to do it, guys, is the stream elements. You get the voice to text, the text to voice. I stop what I'm doing immediately. YouTube doesn't take a huge chunk. The absolute best way to support, guys, is the stream elements. All right. It's good, Glacier. You did show up on time. So yeah, just go ahead and do that. And guys, this will be our last stream. All right. This is our last stream. Now, what do I mean by last stream? Well, obviously there's a break next week, right? So we're not getting 11:43 next week. So that's one part of it. And then two, I'm going to be going on vacation. So guys, I did schedule out some streams. Okay. I did schedule out some streams. So you guys can celebrate. Okay. I scheduled out, all right, on Wednesday, March 19th, we're going to have a long summary chapter reaction. Okay. That's going to be on the same day because long summaries are usually on Wednesdays. So we're going to have a 11:43 long summary spoiler stream. Then 2 days after that, we would have the chapter reaction to 11:43. So if you're paying attention, 11:43 most likely is going to drop on a Thursday. That's usually when chapters drop without delays. But we're going to have to do it the day after, okay? So you guys are going to read 11:43 on Thursday, March 20th. But I'm going to go live the next day. It's going to be Friday, March 21st for that chapter reaction, okay? The following week after that, March 25th, which would be a Tuesday, we're going to have an 11:44 short summary spoiler stream, okay? That's going to be lots of fun. And 2 days after that, which would be March 27th, we will be able to stream the chapter together. All right? So the week following that, which would be March 30th to April 5th, I don't have any streams scheduled for that week. I'm going to see what I could work out, but just keep in mind, guys, I'm going to be doing an insane amount of traveling. I'm going to be extremely busy, but me and the beautiful Dawn of Ascension, she sat down and she was like, she did the majority of this. I can't even take credit for this, chat, but she sat down, we sat down, and we scheduled out some streams. I literally got stuff going on like every single day, almost by the hour. So I'm going to be extremely busy, but I'm going to work it out just for you guys because I love you guys greatly. Jacob, what's good, brother? I never said that. I need the game. Jacob, real, what's good, brother? Jin Marks, how are you doing? Once you use Vicks, you got to wear socks afterwards. Wait, what does that mean? Also, no sus comments. I should be able to eat a banana like a normal person. Vicks vapor rub on your feet before bed. Cough syrup, mainly NyQuil. Is that going to help me feeling weak? Like my body, I feel like I have no energy. My body's a little weak. It's a little achy. I feel much better right now compared to when I woke up, but even right now, I don't feel like I'm 100%. But guys, we're gonna do this anyways. We're gonna do this anyways. What's good, Mr. Nine? I'm giving L content. Bro, I can't just eat a banana in peace, man. I can't just eat a banana in peace. Really. I can't eat a banana in peace like the monkey I am. It's crazy, bro. Day drinking begins. Yo, this dude, a real Blackbeard propagandist, really does take the pirate Blackbeard stuff seriously. This man said day drinking begins. My guy, it's like 1. It's 1 o'clock. All right, guys, another thing. So, with me going out of town, guys, this stream, I'm going to have to break some hearts. This stream is going to be about 2 hours long, okay? The first hour of this stream is me talking to you guys like normal, one-on-one. We're going to get through the chapter. And then the last hour of the stream is going to be open mic. All right, guys? What's good, V-Swap? So right now, for me, it's 1 p.m. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., this is going to be me and you guys one-on-one going through the chapter. Then from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. is going to be open mic. And once it hits 3 p.m., guys, I got to go. I got to finish up my packing. I got some more things to put away. I also need to do last minute shopping. My girl wants me to get some Takis. You know, we can't sleep on the Takis. Greatest chip brand of all time. But, yeah, how's it going though, everybody? Are we all feeling good? By the way, I got something for you. Not watching / reading DBZ. Let me know. 10-minute packing? Nah, actually, I packed like 90% of my stuff, but there's some last minute stuff I need to throw in. So, and guys, make sure you guys pray for me, okay? It's always important, guys. Make sure you guys pray for me. Pray that my plans and my desires fall within God's will and God's plans for me. Help pray that my plans come to fruition. That's 1. 2, pray for my safe travels and my safe health, guys. Pray that, God forbid, nothing terrible happens to me, because I'm going to be traveling an insane amount, guys. So pray for my safety. And 3, what's the number 3, guys? Pray we get some more theories right. Pray that we take more W's and show everybody how we are the #1 theory community. When am I coming back? So that is a tricky question, because I am, but I'm not. Okay, so I'll probably come back, right? Be settled in April 6, April 7, something like that. And you guys will be in for a shock. You guys are going to be in for a very, very big shock. But I'm sure some people could come to their own conclusions and figure out what I'm talking about, what I'm saying. If you know what I'm talking about somehow and you could piece things together, keep it to yourself. But I'm sure there's a lot of clueless people in chat that have no idea what I'm insinuating. Jinmark says, I always pray for you. When will you come back? Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to have some streams in the next few weeks. As I said, I'm not going to put I have a Google Calendar, right? I'm not going to put that on the screen right now because it has very personal things. But again, March 19th, open the calendar. I'm going to give you guys like 30 seconds to open the calendar, okay? Open the calendar. I'm going to tell you how the next few weeks are going to go. Open the calendar. You guys got a calendar? March 19, I'm doing long summary 1143. March 21, I'm doing chapter reaction 1143. March 25, I'm doing short summary 1144. And then March 27, chapter reaction 1144. Okay? Comprende? But I'm not looking at the camera while I eat a banana. It's not happening. Alice says, I pray that Eddie in his vacation comes to realization that he's losing the meme war and gives up. Please, God, bro. How can you say that I'm losing the meme war, L, when I literally eviscerated you in front of in the middle of Discord Gen chat. You got completely obliterated. You got eviscerated. You got pulverized, bro. You literally got Bajrang gunned in the general chat. All right, guys. Let's hop into a prayer, guys. Hop into a prayer, and then we will, of course, begin with the stream. But Jin Marks, thank you for saying that you pray for me. I pray for you guys, of course. All right, guys. Let's begin our prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. O my Jesus, forgive us our sins, save us from the fires of hell. Lead all souls into heaven, especially those in most need of thy mercy. Amen. Glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Lord Jesus Christ, my rock, my refuge, my shield, my deliverer, my Lord, I come to you today, Lord, and I thank you for healing my body, Lord. I thank you for giving me all the provisions that you have, Lord. Food, water, shelter, comfort, entertainment, guidance, strength, courage, bravery, resilience. Lord, thank you for filling me with these positive traits, filling me with your love and your grace, Lord. Thank you for sending your helper, the Holy Spirit, to me to guide me and establish my steps, Lord. I come to you today, Lord, and I ask that you place your hands and your heart upon this stream. I ask that you give us a very fun, hilarious, comedy, exciting, mind-blowing theory of a session. Lord, I ask that you help us come together in unity and to fulfill your will, Lord, to honor you and to create a beautiful, loving unity of an empire, of a family that we've built in this stream, Lord. I ask you, Lord, to guide us, establish my steps, Lord. Keep filling me with the Holy Spirit. Allow me to be a lion for you in the faith, Lord. Please keep me away from the traps and the snares of the devil set before me. Help me avoid the traps and the snares. Send Saint Archangel Michael to defend us in battle, Lord. We will continue following your will as you desire and obeying your commandments, because in order to love you, we obey you, Lord. And I ask you finally to fill all of my supporters, future supporters, friends, family, acquaintances, enemies, haters, fill them with love, strength, guidance, patience, wisdom. Fill them with these positive, loving traits that they can then spread to the people around them, creating a rippling effect, creating a domino effect, Lord, because we wish to bring heaven onto earth. We wish to make earth like it is in heaven, Lord. We wish for your will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Help everyone come back to the truth, Lord. Allow me to be a knight. Allow me to be a soldier, a lion defending the faith, Lord, bringing the flock back to you, the only true shepherd, Lord. And most importantly, Lord, guide my lips, guide my voice, protect my voice and my vocal cords, protect my mouth so I may not fall into error and fall again into the snares and the traps set before me by Lucifer. Help protect my tongue and to speak the truth, not falling into error, Lord. I put everything into you. I love you above all things. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen. And it is time. One Piece 1142, What I'm Afraid of. Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 28. Give the sword and the girls. Or give back the sword and the girls. Thunder Bagua. It's good, meow. Have a great journey and be happy. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Screenshotting the banana eater? Don't do that, L. Don't do that. All right, we don't care about this cover story. Page 1. Teacher, 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 help us. Teacher. There's a huge snake in the schoolyard. It must be Jormungandr. It's the snake that brings an end to the week. You mean Saturday? Eek! Wait, what do you mean? What does that mean? You mean Saturday? You mean Saturday? You mean Saturday? I'm confused. Guys, when we read the TCB and like the OP scans, I'm pretty sure it didn't say you mean Saturday. What does that mean? There's a huge snake in the schoolyard. It must be Jormungandr. It's a snake that brings an end to the week. You mean Saturday? Does anyone understand what that means? Why are they asking you mean Saturday? I have no clue why they said that. Because when it was worded a lot differently in the OP scans, the TCB, and I was thinking like, oh, are they saying that right now in Elbaf it's Saturday? Jesus rose on the third day. So in tomorrow in the One Piece world, Luffy will go Gear 5 or something. They're saying it's Saturday, or they saying Saturday's the end of the week. Yeah, Sunday's the beginning, right? Kids probably think week means week. Oh, it must be Jormungandr. It's the snake that brings an end to the week. You mean Saturday. Oh, okay. Shout out to Jacob. Shout out to Jacob and Eric. Eek, it's gonna eat us. Grawr. Everyone, run into the school. Faculty room, Walrus School. We've got trouble, teachers. There really is an enormous snake out there. A beast from the underworld? What is it doing here in the sun world? I can only hope we can evacuate everyone in time. Math teacher Mr. Blade. I don't know about this man's nose. We should call the chiefs. Walrus School Principal Tusk. But in the meantime, the children are in danger. Language teacher librarian Miss Angie. Teacher, it's gonna gobble Iger up. Wow. Okay. So we see the Jormungandr. Again, guys, this is a bit reminiscent to the snake that we see on the mural. Pretty sure everyone thought about that, right? Like 90% of One Piece fans, when they saw this snake, they instantly thought about the mural. Because, you know, like, obviously on our stream, guys, when we did the 1138 reactions, we did look, and as well as the 1140 or 1138 mural stream, we were looking at the serpent and we were saying that this must be Jormungandr, right? Which wasn't already named in One Piece, as far as I understand, only alluded to. But now when we read 1142, they literally name Jormungandr, right? So interesting. What is Mr. Oda cooking? Move it. We got the principal, got the hammer. Jormungandr, boom, gets hit. Gwarb. The snake's up. We see Saul. Sorry, I'm late. Watch out, Tusk. And like he grabs his arm. Midterm exam. All right, so this is literally Garp type beat. This is literally the giant Garp. This is Galaxy Impact. This is a little baby wannabe Galaxy Impact. You know, even Luffy punches, right? You guys know like all sorts of scenes in One Piece where Luffy punches downwards, and real Blackbeard propagandist with the membership. God bless you, real Blackbeard propagandist. You are officially in the gang. Really? You didn't have one before? Bro, I thought this man real already had one. RBBP, welcome in, man. You are officially gang, bro. I thought you already had one. Thank you. Was good, SL. Isn't the snake from a drawing, though, not a real snake? Solar Impact. Yeah, so you would have to wonder, even if it's from a drawing, which I don't know if that's... I mean, like, I feel like it's most likely from a drawing, given that the snake only showed up once the Holy Knights at Killingham started to manifest the monsters. It makes sense that this would be a drawing. But either way, why is it named Jormungandr when we know that exists in the real world? And there's stories about it even in the One Piece world. Like they said that it brings an end to the week, right? We know like the Jormungandr snake destroys the world. Maybe it existed, or at least it was a legend, something like Nika. Not to say that Jormungandr is equal to Nika, but maybe like some kind of true legend. Maybe it existed in the past. Maybe someone manifested it through a devil fruit. I mean, who knows? But we'll just have to see, right? I mean, because Sengoku literally has Buddha, right? He literally has the Buddha devil fruit. So you would have to think, like, really? Buddha is in One Piece? You know? And just like Luffy, Bajrang is another name for Hanumanji. It might as well just be called Hanumanji gun. So Hanumanji, in some capacity, exists in One Piece, let alone Ashura, right? That's from Hinduism and Buddhism. That exists in One Piece. Daedalus and Icarus in Fishman Island. Those are direct names from something in real life. So, I don't know. Maybe Oda's really trying to reflect the One Piece world with the real world. You know, the question is, to what degree? I don't know, man. I don't know. Was good, Azathoth. I had to replace and wait for my new card from the Hachinosu Bank. Yo, from the Hachinosu Bank, locked in now. Yo, God bless. Thank you, Real. Appreciate it, man. WRBBP. And Otis still hasn't explained how Zoro is able to use Ashura and how Sanji's able to use flames. Yeah, man. It's just kind of up in the air if Oda's ever going to bother getting into the nitty gritty with those types of things. I'm pretty sure there's been SBS questions regarding that. Like, how does Luffy create fire? Like, how does Sanji create fire? I'm pretty sure we had SBS questions about that. I don't know, bro. I really don't know. What's good, Leon? Every arc seems like we visit a different culture. What's good, dude? We visit a different culture of this planet. Yeah, that's the beautiful world building of One Piece, right? You have heaven through Skypiea. You have hell through Impel Down. You have the Candyland kind of thing from Whole Cake Island. You have Venice, Italy, and Water 7. You have Japan through Wano. Yeah, I mean, definitely. You know, when we look at Egghead, I wonder, is that like America? Like high-tech America? I don't really know. Because, you know, America is like very technologically advanced. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I mean, every island does have its kind of culture, niche, and style. But yeah, I still think the core of One Piece is most definitely Christianity. Jesus Christ. I mean, regardless of what island we're on, we're always hearing about the Son of God, the Sun God. The whole idea of Luffy being based, or Luffy being Nika, right? Who's the Son of God. And apparently Kuma worships Nika by going to a church, working as a pastor, taking Sundays off. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, but I really like to focus on that because that hits the direct core of the story, you know? It'd be very difficult for the truest, deepest essence of One Piece to be like a mishmash, you know? Because a lot of the times, things contradict each other. Doesn't the Sanji flame come from him being genetically modified? He's just built different. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Like, Sanji isn't exactly pure human, I guess. Some kind of DNA. You know, he was supposed to be born without emotions, obviously. But him being born with emotions had him deemed as a failure. Him, you know, having morals. Do you think the math teacher Blade will have math puns when he attacks, such as I divide this monster in half or subtract you in two? Maybe. I don't see, like, the thing is, Jonathan, I don't even know if this dude is gonna attack. Maybe. Like, he doesn't really seem like, you know, a combatant, or seem like a combatant, and I suppose you could argue that, like, at the end of the day, these guys might be teachers and mentors and stuff like that, but they still have like this warrior culture, the warrior DNA in them. I don't know. I would say if, you know, he gets into fights and stuff like that, yeah, probably. I'm gonna divide him in half. Karate chop or something. I don't know. Let's multiply your pain. Was good, Damon. Yeah, daylight savings. Bro, I've never in my life kept track of that. Like daylight savings, like when does it go back an hour? When does it go forward an hour? Dude, I have no idea. Did guys, are we losing or are we gaining? I don't even know. I think someone this morning was telling me that it's gonna become darker sooner. I don't even know. All right, let's continue. Eek! What? Mr. Principal. Ow, my back. Thanks for the help, Saul. Don't mention it. Where'd the snake come from, though? Former giant pirate's tusk. Principal. Mr. Saul. You used to be a warrior too, Mr. Principal? The rumors were true. Mr. Saul is super duper strong. He was in the Navy, right? That was really cool. There are monsters like this in the Sun world. Saul? Not really. They're more like this. They're more like usual wild animals. Guys, I cannot read. Whenever I go on stream, my dyslexia goes crazy. It's enormous. Sorry about the scare, children. Thank you, Mr. Saul. Eek, Mr. Wolf. Huh? What is it now? Inside the school. Gym teacher, Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf, what happened to you? Forget me. What about the children? Huh? Teacher, Ilva and the others wandered off somewhere. What? Where? Oh, hello. Are you Luffy's friend? That's right. Did Luffy do something to you? Be careful, Mr. Saul. Huh? You mustn't touch the children. Huh? Which way'd Eva and them go? That way, toward the beach. Mr. Saul, what happened to them? They fell asleep and wouldn't talk to us. Asleep? But you said they were walking? Yeah. They're all asleep and won't respond to us. Huh? Come back. Where are you all going? Blow the horn. Warn the whole country. The whole country? Not the whole country, Tusk. That's going overboard. This is an abnormal state of affairs, Saul. Look at the forest. Alright, so I guess the reason why they're saying to not touch the children is because these children are under some level of hypnosis. Maybe a deeper form of what Lafitte is said to have used, right? And maybe Gunko has a stronger form of Lafitte's powers, you know, in terms of hypnosis and stuff like that. But when they say that you mustn't touch the children, it's probably the case that if someone like the children are hypnotized and you touch the children, you will fall under hypnotism too. Would you guys agree with that? I feel like that's probably the obvious conclusion. Maybe this guy, Mr. Wolf, was watching people touch the children and then they fell under the hypnosis. Was good, Vincent. Loki keeping the giant agenda alive. The rest are a bunch of weaklings. Yo, we got a giant hater in here. We have a giant hater. This man's hating on the Giants. Sounds like Oda to do puns like that. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Abyss sus. Killingham has white clouds instead of black. I mean, it is, but it isn't, because you can't make heads or tails what the clouds mean. And honestly, guys, we've spoken on the Hagoromo scarf so many times, I can't be bothered to go on about that again. You really can't make heads or tails about the scarves. It feels like it's impossible right now. I have no clue how it would work. Maybe like the best case scenario is that if you're mythical, they're white. If you're not, they're black. But then the next question becomes, how come some people get it only at awakening, but then others get it before awakening? And then how come some just don't have it at all? You really can't make heads or tails with the Hagoromo scarf. I have no clue what Oda's going to do. You know, you look at every single person with the Hagoromo scarf, look at when they first achieved it, look at the nature of their animal, look at the nature of who they are as a person. There's just contradictions everywhere. I really don't know what it could mean. It would have to, like at this point, it would have to be something super specific that Oda hasn't revealed, or it's something super vague to where like it just feels like a cop-out, or it's nothing. If white clouds meant you were good, then Emu would know you're a traitor instantly. Yeah, so the question would be, if you think the white Hagoromo scarf is good, why would Killingham have white? That makes no sense. Just like how you said, the Imu and the Gorse, they would know by his fruits, right? No pun intended. They would know him by his fruits. Moreover, it can't be white. He literally serves Emu, bro. He literally serves disinformation, slavery, genocide. Like, it would make no sense for Killinghams to be white under the pretense, excuse me, the presupposition that white is for good, black is for evil. Even then, I mean, and you look at a leopard, right? Leopards are not perceived as evil. So you wouldn't even be able to say, okay, it's the nature of their fruit, the nature of the animal. You wouldn't even be able to say that because a leopard for Lucci isn't considered evil. So if you did go by nature, it would have to be the nature of the person. But then again, you look back at Killingham, it doesn't work for him to be white for his scarf, you know? And then, you also have the question, if black is for evil and white is for good, who draws the standard, right? How, like, not even in One Piece, just in like general life, how does anyone have the right to say, like, that's good and that's evil? By what standard are you judging it by? Because if you say, oh, well, in my opinion, it's good and evil, well, then who cares? Because it's only your opinion, right? Because your opinion could be like, this is good, and then my opinion is that it's black, or is that it's bad. Or vice versa. You think it's bad, I think it's good. So by what standard do you draw a line between good and bad? There's no way to do it, right? It just all becomes subjective, and it almost defeats the point of good and evil, if it's completely subjective. The moral argument for God is quite possibly the best argument for good and evil. Like, you really can't try to tell someone or a group of people what you're doing is evil, what you're doing is wrong. Like, how can you do that? Because they could justify it and say that what they're doing is good. So why do you have the right to overarch their beliefs and their worldview to say that, unless our morals come from something higher than humans, right? Any mythological fruit, it just feels like it would be funny, or it would be a funny interaction with Chopper. Yeah, man, we need some Chopper lore. We need some Chopper growth. We need some Brook growth, Frankie, stuff like that. Like, Oda has just been ignoring non-Monster Trio. Like, come on, man. He's been ignoring non-Monster Trio. Look at the amount of effort he's placed into Luffy and Sanji post-time skip. An immense amount of effort. I would argue probably more than Zoro. At least Zoro had Conquerors, I guess, Kaido. But, like, beyond that, how did he grow Zoro, let alone non-Monster Trio? They've just been completely kicked to the side. Like, what growth has Brook had in the post-time skip? Even Jinbei, you could say, like, he stayed back, was dealing with Big Mom, then he came back. All right, that's some character development. That's some stuff under Jinbei's belt. But even then, like, Frankie, like, what has Oda done? Brook, what has Oda done? What if it's about having a pure soul so that the guy isn't good or bad, but if he has white clouds, it could be that he is of pure heart, but he is just broken, like Anti-Hero or something like that. Well, I would argue that if you had a pure soul, it would be good, right? Because the concept of good and evil, good is something that is divine within the commands and the will of God. Evil is the perversion of what is good. So for an example, alcohol is good unless evil distorts it and perverts it and has you overindulging into where you fall into a state of drunkenness. Or, like, let's say intercourse, right? Intercourse is good until the enemy, Satan, comes to distort and twist it. The devil, the enemy, Lucifer, doesn't actually make anything. He just perverts everything. Right? Children are naturally good until evil goes and twists it and perverts it. So when we talk about, like, a pure soul, that would have to be something of goodness, something unperverted, something blameless, right? So if we go back to the message, you said having a soul means that the guy isn't good or bad, or having a pure soul means he's not good or bad. I would say if these guys have pure souls, then they are by definition like pure, right? By being good. Like things aren't necessarily in the middle. But then you still fall on the question: to what standard are you using to judge something as good and evil, or good or evil? What standard do you use?
You are Jewish.
Oops, I didn't I didn't mean to hit that. But like, what is your standard for good and evil? Who's to say what good and evil is? If it's purely subjective, why bother talking about it? It's just your opinion versus mine. See, I believe in objective morality. I believe in objective morals. I believe like certain things are always evil. And I think most people deep down inside would know that to be true. Like if you, I'll word this carefully, right? Try to think about what I'm saying. Try to read in between the lines. Most people, if not everybody, would know that harming the little ones is evil, right? Well, if that's objectively evil, how do we know that's objectively evil? It would have to come from something higher than our own opinions, something higher from just our own human mind. It would have to come from something above us, right? Which means that it's not subjective. So if objective morality exists, then I mean that opens up a whole different conversation. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. Kids ain't naturally good. They want to learn from the elders to be young and wise. I think humans are naturally good, but what the thing is, like humans, our soul is inherently pure and good, but what happens is we're born with original sin, and we're born with our fleshly desires, and then also we have parents that might make mistakes along the way. But us naturally, we're good. It's just the fall, the pride of Adam and Eve creating original sin and putting forth original sin makes life very difficult. So we're always in a battle. We're always trying to crucify the flesh. Things like that. But yeah. Something that's pure just means there's nothing else in there, i.e. pure evil. Yeah, I guess it would just be pure goodness. Killing hand powers are like the Pied Piper enticing others with his flute. Yeah, we were talking about that when we did the original 1142 reaction. I don't remember who it was that said it first. I have no clue. It might have been Jordan or Tiante. I don't remember who it was, but I really, really do like that. Eve really ruined it, huh? Now I would say it was Adam, bro. It was Adam. Look, Adam was supposed to be the head of Eve. Adam was supposed to be leading Eve, making sure that she doesn't fall into temptations, like guiding her, right? And he was also leading the animals, right? He failed to be a leader, and she listened to the enemy, and things came after that. I would say it's Adam. It was Adam. Men should be leaders, not only in just general life, but at least in their households, with their girlfriend, their fiance, their wife. Bro, $6.66.
$6.66. Z ha 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 ahs lol. There is 3 things worldwide most societies agree with. Snitches / traitors 2. No harm or creepy stuff towards kids. And honorable death. At least between men and nice breakdown.
See? Shout out to Real Black Propagandist. God bless you. Thank you so much for the dono. Thank you, brother. I greatly appreciate that. The amount you donated, I don't know, that's a wild number. Okay, thank you. That's exactly my point. So if objective morality exists, where does it come from? Right? I say it comes from our divine creator. It comes from God, and it's written in our hearts. Right? So well, what other objective morals exist out there? That's a question we need to dive deep into. It's funny you said no snitches and traitors. Yeah, definitely no traitors. Like if you look at any civilization, no one puts traitors on a pedestal. Like even back in the BC time, like before Christ, nobody glorified or honored traitors. Like look at the warring states of China. This was literally like 200, 300, 400 BC. They didn't elevate and honor traders. That doesn't really exist in any society. So yeah, it's like where do they come from? They have to come from something above us. If we could all agree that it's true. But thank you, real. Appreciate it. 323 equals 666. I don't know what you want from me, and it's secretly about Blackbeard. Come on, brother. Come on, bro. 333 is halfway. The battle of good and evil. Which route do you take? And some people could say angel numbers and stuff like that. But real Blackbeard propagandist. Thank you, brother. I don't care. Being a grown-up is not male or female. It is a state of being paired with knowledge in my book. Well, what is your book? Like when you say like, you know, this is this or this is that in my book, like what book? Like your own opinion? I guess like we're all entitled to our own opinions, but you said being a grown-up is not male or female. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Like I definitely do think men should be playing the role of men and women should be playing the role of women. They just need to accept who they are. God made them perfectly. Even if they have weird things about them and quirks and they're a little bit different, they should embrace who they are. They should embrace their true nature. We're made perfectly. We're made in his image. I mean, it's a tradition, right? It's a tradition because not only is it written in our hearts, but it works. It's been a tradition because this is how human life should work. You know, the man leading the household through faith, through provisions, you know, guiding them and protecting them. The women nurturing and taking care of the children, keeping the house in order. That's just like how us by our nature operate. You know, once we start to like blur the lines and have like a big gray space, that's where confusion comes in. People don't know who they are anymore. Sewer slide rates quadruple. We have all of this disorganization, all of these different factions, all of this disunity. You know, what's good, PBJ? What's good? What's good? Celibacy is telling women no. Hey, let's be honest. A lot of the time, celibacy is women telling men no. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, women sometimes can't joke around like us men. I fumbled a torta because of that little fat joke. Yeah, I mean, you know, men and women typically have different natures. It's literally in our DNA, right? So, women have much different ways of operating and thinking than a man. So, you know, you gotta operate in certain ways. You shouldn't ignore or discredit who you are, but yeah, that could be tricky. Gunko is the type who seems to love hierarchy. Even when Loki was talking to Shamrock, she was pissed. And Nika, being the warrior of liberation, is a direct threat to that hierarchy. Yeah, man. Nika. Nika. Hey, if I was a celestial dragon, I'd be terrified of Nika too. These guys are in direct opposition to Nika, Joy Boy, the Ancient Kingdom, Luffy. So it makes a lot of sense that she would fear Nika, right? Look at who she serves. I mean, what more is there to say? But real Blackbeard propagandist, thank you, brother. God bless, man. Thank you, brother. All right, guys, let's continue. What? There are more monsters there. Where did they come from? See, abnormal, right? Mr. Principal, the children are passing out. What's wrong, everyone? Hang in there. What now? I just don't understand. Get up, kids. Huh? What's happening? Let me down there, Saul. I'll take a look at them. Please do. I'm at a loss. The first thing we should do is stop the children and get them to safety. Underworld, Elbaf. You thought that leaving one leg trapped in this sea prism stone would contain the true extent of my power? That was foolish of you. If you want to save Elbaf, undo the final cuff now. You'll see soon if I'm really helpless or not in this condition. Loki! Hey, what's this deal? What's his deal? Better hurry up. If I keep landing blasts, eventually they'll hit something. And the fires will spread. You know what Elbath is susceptible to, don't you? I could bring you all to ruin. Stop it, Loki! Boom! Got Zoro, Luffy. Bro, this almost looks like he nearly split the sky. If you guys look really, really closely, oh, you know what? This is a thunderbolt. I'm coping, guys. This is a thunderbolt. You didn't hear me splitting the sky. Say splitting the sky. We got the giants. Then we got a fire. Was that thunder? There's fire on the south side of the island, Chief Ya Rule. Did you hear a horn too? Anything but fire, we must put it out. Do these guys have fire extinguishers? If these guys are if these guys are so afraid of fire, they gotta have fire extinguishers, right? Loki, god of thunder. This man's Thor. The Walrus School. Mr. Saul, Mr. Principal. What? I recognize those monsters. You do, Miss Angie? It was earlier today. Loki has a huge hammer, and he destroys the world. No, he doesn't. The one who destroys the world is Nika. And then they make him black. Really? Look, he's scary. Look. No, look. Loki is scarier. No way. Obviously, the scariest thing of all is Fenrir, the giant wolf. Don't stand on your desks, children. It's ghosts. It's the undead Draugr, Storms, Nidhogger, the lightning dragon, Jormungandr, my mom. Is everybody finished? Teacher, wait. If they're saying my mom is the scariest thing, and we know that Big Mom is here, are one of these people the children of Big Mom? That's Big Mom. They said my mom. Yo, Big Mom's secret kid. Big Mom's secret kid. Teacher, if I have to think of so many scary things, I'm gonna have a nightmare tonight. Haha, sorry, Ilva. I'm happy to see so much personality and creativity in these drawings and essays, though. You've all got so much imagination and expression. All of those things are what the children drew based on the prompt of what they were afraid of. But that's ridiculous. These visions are a vision of the world that terrified the children most. Okay, we're all ready to ZZZZZ. Hey, good job there, Killingham. The time limit is until the kids reach the ship. Do you think you can get them back? Gee ha 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 ha. To know love is to wound one another. Say, Gunko, are you afraid of anything? Nika. Chapter end to be continued. And guys, that is 11:42. That is 11:42, guys. Make sure you guys drop a rating in the chat. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, like and subscribe. And if you're not new here, you guys should be hitting the notification bell and selecting the option that says all, so you don't miss future content. Now, guys, we're going to be just talking one-on-one for the next 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, guys, I'm going to open up the open mic, okay? I told you guys this at the beginning of the stream. For the last hour of the stream, from because right now it's 1:50, from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. we're gonna have open mic. If you guys want to talk to me, ask your questions, have your theories, your hot takes, whatever you guys want to say, live on stream in voice chat, join my Discord server, !Discord in the chat. You could get a link. Hop into the channel that's called Backstage, and I'll drag you guys into where it says live stream, okay? We're going to do open mic for the last hour. I hope you guys are down to join. I want to have some new voices, some new faces chopping it up on voice chat, and we'll get into the last hour of the stream. And once that last hour comes, guys, I won't be back until 11:43. All right, guys. So you guys got to stay strong, okay? And obviously, as I've been saying, guys, I'm going to be on the road, okay? So when I'm back, I'm going to be on the road in vacation. When I go live, it's not going to be the usual setup, okay? So you guys are going to have to deal with it. I'm probably not going to have my stream deck. You know, I'm not going to have my stream deck. It's not going to be the same background. I don't even think it's going to be the same camera, but we'll get back in the zone probably early April. Okay, guys? We got real. Says before that stash and meme check, my boy. Dude, is that a check Discord? Is that a check Discord? Please don't do this to me. Please don't. All right, guys, stash check. Stash check, we good? We good? Are we good? Are we good? Actually, guys, I'm hitting the barber tomorrow. I'm hitting the barber tomorrow before my flight. He's gonna get me right. Real Black Be Propagandist again, thank you. But King J with the 40, thank you, brother. He says, was I too late for Toe Piece? I guess you weren't. I guess you were not. I guess you were not. All right, guys, you guys are running out of time. We're gonna start our open mic session in 7 minutes. I'm warning you guys. We're starting open mic in 7 minutes, okay? But King J, you are not too late for Toe Piece. I know you love them toes. You need professional help, my guy. Whoops, definitely not that one. You need professional help. You need therapy. Oh yeah, someone Real Black Propaganda said meme check. So there's more memes on Discord. Wait. Meme war footage, evil getting jumped. L's meme, Young Smokey. Why do I have to be boo? Why do I have to be boo? Really? Run that back. Run that back. L's meme, Young Smokey. Why do I have to be boo? RBBP meme. RBBP meme number 2. Simon casually cooking up. King J's feet, agenda, and memberships. You see that, King J? You've created your own agenda of love and feet, bro. Smokey, help me. No. Yo, Smokey's letting me down on the memes, bro. He's letting me down. Now, don't get me wrong. Smokey will clap back when it comes to the stream elements, which you guys should be using instead of YouTube Super Chats. Guys, use the stream elements. It's so much better for me and you. But Smokey has been letting me down, bro. I have to 1v1 L on my own. Evil when he said he will do a cosplay of Law. Bro. No. I am not dressing up like a woman, bro. Zoro is my king. Evil on his sissy Zoro glaze.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna block whoever posted that, bro. Evil glazing Zoro? Bro! I can't even eat a banana in peace. You guys don't even let me eat just a banana like a normal person? Bro. L, seriously? Blackbeard agent, location objective, classified, top secret, tap, evil buddy, you okay? $5 super chat, $20 super chat. Help me, Smokey. Help. Please switch sides. I admit being St. Eddie D. Jabra, Weevil, Charlos, Morley III. Yo, do you guys use these extra long names because I'm Mexican? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? I admit to being St. Eddie D. Jabra, Weevil, Charlos, Morley III. That is literally a Mexican name. Oh, this is me from Ed and Eddie. Fire. You know what? This one gets a fire emoji. Well, that gets a fire emoji. Real Blackbeard propagandist with the 2. God bless, brother. Thank you. LS passed the torch. Who did he pass the torch to? He passed it to you? He passed it to you? Guys, we will be starting open mic in 3 minutes. You guys, this is your last chance. If you guys wanted to hop into voice and chop it up with me, you guys have literally 3 minutes, probably 2 minutes to hop in. ! Discord, get into the channel called Backstage, and I'll drag you guys in, all right? Mid meme? Nah, I think those were good memes. Guys, which one's the best meme? The Dragon Ball one? The Kuma one? Bro, I really have to be Charlos. Are you serious, man?
Oh my god, bro.
This one. This one. This one. This one. This one. The Kuma one? Real Blackbeard propagandist, his meme? Man, you really had to put Smokey as Kuma and then put me as Saint Eddie DiCharlos Weevil Morley III. That's disgraceful. That's truly, truly disgraceful. Like, in L, like, really, L, I can't just have a banana? Like, I can't just eat a banana, really. Banana blowjob? Bro, I'm just eating a banana. I didn't even look like this. This has to be AI. I did not even make that face. And I need, guys, I need this cut, bro. I need to see my barber tomorrow. Be like, hey, barber, you got to get me right. You know, I'm getting married. Get me right. You know what I'm saying? I need the fade with a scissor trim at the top. Get me right. Guys, I haven't had a cut in like a month, probably longer. But thank you, Real Blackbeard propagandist. Thank you, Wingway. Thank you, L. Thank you both. Guys, you got 2 minutes. You guys got 2 minutes to hop into the voice chat. Give you guys lots of warnings. Give you guys many, many warnings. Yeah, exactly, Leon. I gotta look clean, man. Gotta look fresh, bro. Guys, I'm gonna come back on stream. This will be 11:43. My hair probably won't be as fresh because it would have already been like a week, probably like a little over a week. But I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be fresh. Gonna look good. Might have to get another cut this month just to maintain, bro. Scroll down, Gen Chat. There's another one. King J.
Oh my god, bro.
Get this disgusting nastiness off my stream. That gets a puke emoji from me. King J, I'll leave that to you, bro. I'll leave that to you. Guys, we are now beginning open mic. We now have Azathoth and Mr. SL in the open mic.
Yo, yo.
How are we doing?
We doing all right?
What are the thoughts? Azathoth, SL, what are our thoughts on 11:42 and 11:43? What are you guys expecting to see? That is the golden question.
I'll let him go first. If he's there.
Is Azathoth there?
He has his mic unmuted now, but I don't know.
Maybe his mic's not working.
Maybe not.
He won't light up.
Well, while he tries to fix that, I guess I'll say, it was an alright chapter. I like the drawings are pretty crazy, like, and they're pretty massive, like, considering how big Elbath is. Yeah, that dragon is huge for sure. But the dragon looks just like the one from Punk Hazard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying because he has his tongue sticking out.
Yeah. And then yeah, and it might have to do with like the mural where the kids had the nightmare or fears from the mural or something. Like the dragon on the tree.
Yeah, exactly. The dragon right in the middle. So is this dragon on Elbaf gonna shoot fire like the one on the mural?
Maybe. I mean, I guess it depends on how the fruit works with like the nightmare. Like whatever they conjure up in their imagination, like fearing wise, will manifest, like will work, will happen. So like if they think the dragon, if they're afraid of it and think it can breathe fire, then maybe it therefore can, according to the fruit's power. Like that could be how it works. So yeah, it's a good chance.
King J asks, "What's the monster in the middle? Loki?" It probably is because on page 14, the kid says, "No, look, Loki is scarier," and it might be the this kid right here holding up what looks to be a giant with horns, and he's most likely saying Loki. So when we go back, this giant right here with the horns is probably like what they envision Loki to look like.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's like all their powers and stuff should be based on like the fears and the drawings, I guess, of the kids and stuff. So
You
like
know,
I guess Zeus can straight up use lightning and everything too, whatever that like evil Zeus looking thing is.
yeah. And when we go back
Yeah.
to the beginning of the chapter, we of course got the Jormungandr, right? We have the Jormungandr snake there, and we were saying earlier, yo, it's good, bro. We were
Howdy.
saying that the Jormungandr snake, his appearance in 1142 most likely isn't random. It's probably having to do with the kids' nightmares. So my thing is, if we're gonna connect the Jormungandr to the mural, let alone the dragon to the mural, well, we know that the snake and the dragon look like they're fighting on the mural. So possibly this dragon that we see on page 16 is gonna fight the Jormungandr snake in the middle of this arc if we
Hmm.
base it off the mural.
Cool,
Maybe.
cool.
But I do think Oda will start to probably reveal more about dragons soon because like there's so much dragon stuff in One Piece just scattered around, but there's like a lot of information we don't have yet or and things because it's like we see that Vegapunk's recreating them. We see that Ryuma killed one like 400 years ago. We see that the celestial dragons have a dragon print as their symbol. We see like their names literally celestial dragons copying little dragons, which um according to the mural, I believe used to live basically like on the red line slash on the trees, like the Eve tree and stuff, which is where the celestial dragons took over and then conveniently copied their name, basically their name scheme. And
Well,
then,
maybe.
we have Monkey D Dragon, like crazily named dragon, which is also like not ironically, also a copy of like the Celestial Dragon's name where he's taking them down, having that same name and going after them. And then Mihawk even Dracule without the E means dragon, and then Mihawk's based off of Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, who was known as the Dragon. So there's like all this dragon stuff that's just all over One Piece, and it's like what is Oda cooking up?
I do have some thoughts, but I'll let JK go first.
I mean, it's a lot on the whole. Things with Dragon. I feel for if we're gonna get anything reveals about Dragon, like it's hard to say when or like what style information we'll get. Like we had filler arc back in like the early 2000s where it was celestial dragons in quotation marks, actual physical dragons, which were filler arcs being chased down by actual like celestial dragons that we all know of in the One Piece world. So
Yeah, I
it's
remember that.
yeah, so it's really hard to say like we have them still existing in a sense. The One Piece world's always that big and all that. But the one thing I was noticing about was the fact that all these were drawn and all that. Yet we have a person who has a fruit power called the arrow fruit, which we don't really know what type of arrows they could be. Maybe it's like paper and all that. And if that's the case, what if you say like she took the papers of what they were nightmares for and brought them towards Killingham slash Summers and gave them to that way, and that's how they got their fears out. And they were like getting a little closer and send them back and get like bringing words because like there's a big gap right there of where how the hell they were able to intercept and go into the school without being noticed. So
I'm thinking that her arrow powers kind of work in a sense where kind of like other characters we've seen, like Diamante, who could turn things into flags, and then he would just have steel, and then he would just turn his steel into different weapons and like a cape and everything. And then so hers is probably similar where she can just turn pretty much anything into an arrow. So she can just have like those wrappings or whatever and carry those around with her and then turn them to an arrow whenever she needs them as a weapon. So it's
So
probably similar to that, I would think.
I,
Something like
I
that.
I think the dragon thoughts are really interesting. I'm gonna piece a bunch of different things we've been talking about like the past several streams into one thing. So when you talk about all this dragon representation in One Piece, you hit like a really important one where the celestial dragons have their icon being the celestial dragon hoof, which is like, of course, the footprint, like the hoof of a dragon. Well, we know that the celestial dragons, they technically are all serving the emu agenda. And there's like the grand saying of the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing the world he didn't exist. We have all of this connections between Luffy and Jesus. I think like the idea of, yes, emu being inspired from things in Hinduism like Ravana is true. Emu being inspired by Japanese yokai like the Umibozu is true. But that wouldn't take away from maybe like this core principle, this core idea of emu being based off of Satan, Lucifer, the Antichrist, which in the book of Revelation is symbolized as a dragon. We can see how in the book of Revelation, there's a woman clothed with the sun, a crown with 12 stars above her head, standing on top of the moon. That's said to be Mary. And this dragon goes and tries to attack the woman and her children. So and like also aside from that, we see how a lot of times the dragon in the Bible is correlated to Lucifer, the devil, the enemy, stuff like that. So if emu was represented as a dragon, then that makes a lot of sense given the Christian inspiration in One Piece, and again the celestial dragon hoof. I really wanted to add something to that, but it's slipping my mind. Um, I can't think of it, but maybe if you guys continue on, it'll pop back in my head.
hmm. Well, I do. So I was writing on the stream there about Killingham having a flute based power based off his face there and all that. The reason why I was saying that is because if the kids were moving towards the end of the island there, why aren't like a holy knight actually there helping them guide them away? Like the arrow fruit is helping them guide their way there, but to initiate anything to get nearby them when they like have to walk all the way over there closer. That's why I was saying like, a fruit type of thing, like a hypnosis type of thing, like the Pied Piper, enticing others in deception, like making illusions and all that.
Yeah. That's just like I'm still mind blown just by the fact, bro, that there's a character that's manifesting nightmares in general, whether it's drawings or thoughts or whatever. Like that is so sick. Like we always wondered, like me and I'm sure you guys too, just One Piece fans in general, wondering like, does someone have like the nightmare devil fruit? I've seen people attribute that possible idea to emu, but now to see the Holy Knights have this type of power just again makes us think like, okay, well, what is emu? Like what is emu's core power? Luffy having this whole concept of imagination, and
hmm
but only a holy knight is having these nightmare powers. So I can't even begin to imagine what emu's core abilities and powers are. Like it has to be insane.
I really hope it is a nightmare fruit and not another drawing fruit because we had one in Wano with the trader from the Red Scabbards and all
Yeah,
that.
Conjuro.
Yeah, so I just don't want to like. I really hope it's a nightmare fruit and not just like it. If it is another fruit where it's like they take paper and they turn it into an actual monster, then I really hope it's much more different and much more powerful. Like they're able to maybe do hockey in a sense. I hate to say it that way, but like make it a little different. If it is the same style thing from like, because if it is Conjuro's thing, then there should be an easy way to beat him, type of thing. Overexert him. You know.
Yeah, and I can never remember the name for it, but there's a one shot Oda did before he made One Piece, and like the main character as opposed to the enemy, in that story. I can't remember what it's called. Someone in chat might know. But one of the characters is known as being an eraser. He's like a rubber man, like rubber powers, and he erases things. And then the other character is known to be a pen. And he's
That's
like
kind of how
manifesting and creating things. So I think like kind of ironic that Oda turns around and makes One Piece Luffy's this rubber man,
all I
similar
can think
to
about
Eraser.
is SpongeBob's Doodle Bob.
Doodle Bob.
Yeah, Frankendoodle.
Yeah, Frankendoodle.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Vincent said Romance Dawn. No, that's not what it is. It's not even One Piece. It's like
That was the first chapter's initial draft, if I'm correct, because they
yeah.
had like a whole video episode about it too, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that. It's not One Piece. It's like a one shot. I read it before, but I'm just thinking like, okay, well, would that tie into One Piece, parallel One Piece with Emu manifesting monsters and spirits? Because it could be a much more elevated version of Conjuro's fruit. And notice how Conjuro was really tied into the scabbards, known as and proven to be a traitor. We see all the time people asking if Emu betrayed the ancient kingdom, let alone Joy Boy playing this Judas role. So it could make a lot of sense that, you know, maybe Emu has some kind of drawing power similar to Conjuro, but turned up to the max, making Conjuro's fruit seem really like boring and whack. You know, maybe Emu's manifesting these portals. Oh, I remembered what I was gonna say. Regarding the dragon. So again, we were talking about how the celestial dragon hoof is a symbol for the celestial dragons. They follow Emu. The devil's called to be the dragon. Blah 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 blah. Well, I was just thinking, we saw last chapter 1141 that these holy knights are not able to use their abyss pentagram powers to teleport without having the mark. And then when you look at the Book of Revelation, it's saying how the Antichrist is gonna have people get the mark, like the mark of the beast, to buy and sell. So with Emu possibly taking inspiration from Lucifer, Satan, the Antichrist, it makes sense that Oda parallels that with the mark in chapter 1141. But to go even further, what if the celestial dragon mark or the celestial dragon hoof is the mark? What if Emu like uses his hands or something and he places the celestial dragon hoof on their back or something, and then that's the mark? And that would make a lot of sense to me. I mean, like, that's literally their logo. Like, they wave the flag. I don't know if they have a flag per se, but they have like a statue. Like, that's their logo. Like, that's their mark. So if, you know, the mark that the Holy Knights are referring to is a celestial dragon hoof, that just ties so many different things together.
So, I don't think you remember. I don't know if you remember the last stream there, and I was talking about what was it? This little game that we're having with the Holy Knights, and that they'd have their like rewards. So I've been thinking about it with Cunningham for a bit, or Killingham, whatever we want to call him right now. I've been thinking about him for a bit there about it. He's the only one who has a helmet on his head compared to the other two. All that. That makes me kind of think one thing about him is that he was recently just a standard celestial dragon who went and got himself upgraded to the Holy Knights. So he'd be like on the rookie list type of thing, you know, just like a fresh recruit. Just got patched in like into a motorcycle club. That's why you see him when he shows up, he's panicking, going like, "Holy fuck, I'm late, like the White Rabbit in freaking Alice in Wonderland."
Yeah.
That was the first vibes I got from him was Alice in Wonderland's White Rabbit when he showed up, because he was just squirming to get ready. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm late," and he's like, didn't even have his helmet off, type of thing. Like, he's used to having that helmet on. So it's and like I'm thinking for this, like, to get into the Holy Knights type of thing, you know, you have to obviously have a devil fruit and be prominent in that use. Because like, why aren't other normal noblemen included into this, and like how was the limit type of thing? But the funny thing, I was watching One Piece with my mom, because I got her into the actual series and all that. We were on episode like 3 and had the flashback of the whole Shanks' Luffy's origin story. Ben Beckman's first statement when they fight the freaking mountain bandits is like, "What you think we are? Knights? Like saints? Pirates?" His first line, "What do you think we are? Saints? We're pirates." I'm just like, at first I'm just like, oh, that's a funny thing at all. And now as we're at this point, we're just like, holy fuck, it's been that far of that correlation, like right there, like, you know.
Let me bring up King J's super chat, and then I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you, King J. God bless, brother. Thank you. King J says, I think whoever the Kirin puts to sleep will get their nightmare brought to reality. Usopp becomes a brave warrior when he beats all his nightmares. What are we thinking about that? I think that's brilliant.
I think that's a pretty cool theory there. I also think that if that's the case, Usopp is the one gonna be
You
like.
said Usopp?
Yeah, I know. I went just posting together there in that moment. But I definitely think Usopp is gonna be the one like having his like everyone's saying he's gonna have his big glow up moment. It's got to be in this arc, and I feel like he's gonna fight Gunko. I feel like it's because we know Sanji's not gonna fight her. We know that for a fact. So I think it's gonna be Usopp fighting her directly because she has this whole arrow fruit and having this cool like arrows and all that stuff. He has his long range abilities, and it's gonna make him inspire all those other giants to fight. Like he is gonna have that inspiration moment, and he's gonna force them all to fight, and they're gonna follow his banner in quotation marks for that time being. Thus, fulfilling his first like major thing when he states like as when Luffy and the gang show up onto his island, Start Village. I have 8,000 men. That's gonna be the 8,000 men moment.
Yep. Did you have something you wanted to say, Elite?
Yeah, I was just thinking, do we think that whether it's Gillingham or Summers using the ability, do we think they can create nightmares or like fear fear manifestations that are stronger than them? Like, for example, say Usopp is scared of like Doflamingo or Kaido. Would Gillingham or Summers be able to materialize like a nightmare Kaido or a nightmare Doflamingo?
I mean, I feel like given like that scenario, Oda would probably have to make them weaker. Like I can't imagine like if that did happen and Usopp was really afraid of Kaido, like and Usopp had like this vision of Kaido being stronger than he actually is, like Oda would turn around and have like this super buffed Kaido on Elbaf. He would probably find a way to like nerf.
But
Yeah.
at the same time,
I
I think
think
with Usopp there in that moment, like we know he thinks Luffy is stronger than anyone else. So he'd obviously have to say like Kaido is strong, but Luffy is stronger in a sense. So we would have technically a weaker version of Kaido at that point.
I
That's
think
how I
it
see that.
I think it kind of matters on your knowledge and like what you believe. So like similar to Bonnie's fruit, where like she can imagine different things and like create that timeline basically or tap into that timeline.
Yeah.
Where so the like say he was to envision evil Kaido, but he barely understood any of Kaido's abilities, then that version of Kaido would just be like more simplistic. But like I have no idea how hockey would correlate because like a drawing wouldn't necessarily have hockey, but then again, if he like understands Kaido's hockey, then maybe it would have some sort of like artificial hockey, like some like drawing hockey. Like I don't know how that would work, but you know what I mean? So I think it would depend on like what he believes about whatever thing he's fearing. Like what do they believe about it? Therefore that would manifest as their abilities or the lack thereof. Like I was saying with the dragon too, like because Threevil was saying, well, what if this dragon can breathe fire? And I was like, well, maybe it can, especially depending on the kid that drew it. What did they believe about the dragon? Did they believe that the dragon could breathe fire? If so, then probably it can. But if not, then I don't know. Kind of how I think of it.
Yeah, that's a good question on that part and a good theory to that because like it's hard to say because if like as we were saying earlier, like if he has Chondro's powers where he can just do drawings and that's just like he just turns drawings into real life, is he just stuck like just how he was up there in Wano, just drawing stupid birds type of thing, not really. And he started drawing realistic after that. It was really OP, but wasn't like he lost a lot of stamina, and that's what kind of like led to his downfall in a sense. But like, where's the line there? I was gonna say something about that storm cloud though that was being drawn as the evil thing. I'm calling it if Nami comes in and saves the kids, she's gonna save that kid who's scared of the clouds with Zeus. Zeus is gonna show up and scare that kid somehow. Just gonna call it right now. It's gonna be fucking funny, and it's gonna be like turning the kid around. Like someone's gonna face their fears in Elbaf, and it's gonna be that kid who's scared of clouds.
To be honest, I can see like the perceptions that the kids have, like the perceptions they have of Nika, that cloud, obviously, and I don't know what other stuff was shown, but like when the real Nika comes, which is Luffy, like their perception of Nika is gonna be like it's gonna become the opposite of what it currently is, and then the perception of like the clouds
I
and
washed
shit.
my hands, Chad. I washed my
Will
hands.
change. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good theory on that. Like everyone's like their thoughts of it, because then that would show like the big fear of everything increasing the power. But once you break the fear of it, it's now weak. Sense.
Yeah, it disappears. Yeah, exactly.
If you guys count out the monsters, 10 monsters. So perhaps
Mhm.
like these are like the Straw Hat fights. I mean, I heard the idea about the cloud with Nami. I think that's brilliant. But then I thought, like, well, how many monsters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, no, there's more than 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And there's how many Straw Hats?
There's
And
10,
then,
Counting
but we
Luffy?
also
and then there's also
include-
the snake too, but that might already be defeated. I don't know how that works too. Like if you defeat it, does it like go away?
disappear, or is it?
What
Does it only go away when the kids
Just
stop
come back.
being scared of the thing?
Yeah,
like
well,
that's
I think they actually said this chapter that they have until they reach the ship. So maybe like they disappear when the kids reach the ship. Let me go actually find that panel.
that's actually a good thing about that. Like, I think, but now there's the thing about with Professor Wolf there. One, do you think he has a devil fruit of a wolf in him? In a sense, why would they call him Wolf? Like they call the guy Walrus. Walrus, you know, he was principal. But second thing on top of that, he says don't touch the kids, and he's also fucked up. Like he's just cut up there. Sorry for my language, but he's just cut up, mangled, and all that. Do we like say that was from the actual kids? Because like don't touch the kids, and he's like down there like in a ditch bleeding, and they're just like okay, you know, like what?
Yeah.
What we-
I'm not sure about the wolf, but to go back really quick, on the double page of the monsters, they do say, "Hey, good job there, Killingham. The time limit is until the kids reach the ship." So maybe that'll be the main thing. Like as soon as the kids reach the ship, the monsters disappear. Because when they say, or maybe,
Oh, that's true.
or they would be referring to like the kids being under hypnosis. So maybe like the kids they wake up, but the monsters remain there. I would probably lean towards the former. I'd probably lean towards the monsters disappearing when the kids reach the ship. What do you guys think?
That makes sense. That makes sense. Wait, so is the hypnosis and the nightmare ability, is it the same? Like, is it the same person making them sleep and the same person producing the
Actually,
nightmare?
no. That's a great question. Because the one that has them in hypnosis is Gunko, but then when the monsters show up on that double page, they say, "Hey, good job there, Killingham." So that's a great question.
I don't think Gunko has him under hypnosis.
They think
Really?
some people think it's Sommers that's doing the hypnosis because he said like the whole like love hurts people and all this. Well, there's also the idea that Sommers has put like something around the kids where it could have been the arrow that hurt the PE teacher, but some people think that Sommers, because he has like the thorns on the sword, that he did something like to where like if anybody tried to interfere, it would hurt that person. So that's why the teacher got hurt, because he tried to wake the kids up or something, and then like something happened to him.
Like
But I don't know.
it sort of looks like from how his powers work, like Killingham, what he does is just say, like he just goes to sleep in a sense, because like his face has that weird thing at the end, or he just has like
Oh,
he falls asleep.
yeah, it's probably him.
Yeah.
And
Probably him hypnotizing the kids, the guy who sleeps all the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
here, I'll do this because I want to make a poll to see what people think, but let me just ask first, like to you guys in voice chat and everyone watching the stream. What do you guys think the scenario is between the hypnosis and the nightmares? I would say that Gunko is the one that has them under hypnosis and the arrow's a giveaway. And then the one that's manifesting the nightmares is Killingham through the dialogue of, hey, good job there, Killingham. The time limit is until they reach the ship. But I want to know what you guys think in voice and what you guys think in chat so then I can make a poll. I
kind of think
think Gunko for the hypnosis, Killingham for the nightmare.
I think Somers I think Somers might be doing the nightmares, and then Killingham or the Kieran guy might be doing the making them asleep. And then Gunko's just leading with the arrow. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's strange because why the arrow? Like, why not like a person?
So that's the thing. So I was thinking for that. That's why I was saying like I'm thinking it's not going to be Gunko with hypnosis. Gunko is just using her powers, which is her arrow, and just having it kind of like a straight line path.
Like a
While
guy.
Killingham has full hypnosis and nightmare powers. Because like if you have powers of putting someone to sleep and it's hypnosis, you can't just do it that way because then we have the simple fight of Luffy being put to sleep and then boom, we have Luffy fighting Zoro type of thing. So nightmares can be an addition to that power since like we have like other fruits that are very broken, such as what the fuck is her name? Sorry, my language again. From Dressrosa.
Sugar.
Yeah, Sugar. Yeah, yeah, that little girl there. That her powers are pretty broken too. The hobby fruit, where it's like, oh, I turn people into toys, and she does that. What else her powers also do? Instantly make everybody forget about them.
Hmm.
So they're like, and that's very broken of a fruit. There has to be more than just hypnosis because then that's the case then Django is like Django from back in Sir Village is OP then technically.
Yeah.
So like it's really
Yeah,
hard to
I think that's a great argument.
it's really
Them
hard
not
just to
being
get
one dimensional.
Oh my god. I just thought of something.
That also
Like someone said something about love hurting, right? He said that love hurts or like love is pain or something like that. And when we felt like when we got revealed to him, we saw him with like like a sword that looked like it had thorns on it, like on the hilt. And like the term um like a rose with thorns like means like love it like refers to the passion and joy and love that also comes with pain and suffering.
Hmm.
So like I don't know, like he
Yeah.
might have a whole rose like flower thing going on. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, he has the rose, but maybe the reason they have the arrow is just because, well, it's to guide them, but it's also maybe they don't want to interrupt whatever power is something that's going on. They don't want to wake the kids up or interrupt something that they have already set up.
well from my perspective is Killingham doesn't have full control over his hypnosis powers in a sense, and that his like telling the kids come walk is like Dracula Dead and Loving It. If you ever seen that movie, brilliant movie by the way. There is a joke in that where it's like Dracula played by Leslie Nielsen and all that, where he's like talking to the girl out of a window. He's like, "Now stand up." And now there's like a maiden next to like there's like the actual maid, both women stand up at the same time. He's like, no, not you. You sit down. You stand up. And the other one sits down. He's like, no, the other one. And they go back and forth. And he's just like, am I just dealing with idiots here? Like it's like that. That's how I see it as like he can make them like fall asleep and walk, but they're all like going serious. And he's just like, okay, someone needs to help me guide them, type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you made a lot of great arguments. Given that, like, next to Killingham, there's like a version of him asleep. I do understand like the idea of like him only putting people to sleep seems rather weak. It's probably like some kind of dual ability. You know, someone made I forgot which one of you guys made the example to Sugar. So maybe I would shift my perspective to Killingham putting them to sleep and manifesting the nightmares, and for whatever reason they just follow the arrow. And like I get like the Summers dialogue of like to lose or to know one or to know love is to wound another. Like I understand that, but like at the same time, I don't think that holds as much weight as like Killingham being asleep and them thinking Killingham saying good job, and the idea of him having a multi-layered power.
Hmm.
I still think Summers hasn't revealed what he has. That's the thing. Summers hasn't
Yeah.
revealed what he has. I still think Summers is going to be fighting Zoro and all that. I think Sanji's going to be fighting Killingham just because Killingham, like we have seen Zoro fight a fully awakened Zoan fruit. We still haven't seen Sanji do that. And if they're supposed to be considered the wings of the future Pirate King, they both need to carry the same weight. So if one does one feat, one has to do the other feat. That's how I'm seeing it as. And Sanji can rub it in Zoro's face now, going like, "I beat a Holy Knight. You just beat CP0. That's it." Like type of thing.
Yeah.
The PE teacher might have gotten hurt from Summer's ability. I mean, it could have been the arrow too. It could have been a lot of things, but maybe that's why he said something about getting hurt and all that. Maybe the PE teacher tried to stop it, and then Summer's ability somehow like reflects damage or does something to hurt him.
Well, he says don't touch the kids. So if it's like if you go and you like say grab a kid's shoulder in a sense at that point to do that, do you think it's going to happen like that, or is it going to be more of like
Maybe.
the kids were touching that, like not his say like touching themselves that, but like one fell asleep and the other one went to go like wake him up like it's not nap time anymore. We're gonna go and like play some games, and then he falls asleep because
Yeah.
he tries waking him up.
Yeah.
And it just becomes the Congo line.
Yeah, because they were saying, as you guys are pretty much like saying and alluding to, like they did say to not go touch the kid, and that's probably because it's like I don't know, contagious. One thing I want to point out though is like when we look at this double page of like monsters coming into existence, they all look evil. Like I get huge Gorosei vibes from this. So I'm just thinking like maybe this is a glimpse into Emu and the Gorosei. Like maybe Emu gives the Gorosei these monster forms, like through the mark, through rituals. Like I'm just getting heavy Gorosei vibes when I look at this double page. Like I feel like it's some kind of glimpse into Emu, and if we could really narrow things down with this and really come to like a full understanding, that might help us. It might be a stepping stone to further understand Emu. Because they never revealed if the Gorosei have fruits or not. That's in the air. Some people think they have fruits. Some people think it's like some ritual. Like,
I've been thinking for them, they're actually the real demons. Like they're actually the real monsters that's been turned human by Emu.
I think it's
That's what I've been thinking.
Some power that has something to do with Emu. That Emu gives them some type of power.
Yeah, they might have sold their souls to Emu in exchange for that.
Well,
immortality and the
That's
power.
how they get the immortality.
I think if Emu did give him a devil fruit, I'm gonna say this now. They're gonna have the weirdest fruit out there. It's not gonna even be because as I said, I'm thinking that they're gonna be the demons. Their fruit are humans' fruits, just simple human no meat fruits. All that. The reason why that is because like the devil in disguise type of theory, where they're like the biggest monsters, but they're actually dressed up as humans. And then we see them only in their full forms, like their full Zoan forms in human form, not in their true forms. Because like,
that was one of my old theories that they were like ancient creatures, but then they ate human fruits, and then that's how they take human form. But they do have the saint bloodline, so they most likely would have had to have been humans based on that. So that kind of throws a wrench in it. But yeah. It's hard to say, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Like I would lean towards like some kind of ritual thing. I mean, just the fact that I mean, I've said this so many times. Like Brooks time skip with Namakura Island. They mentioned Satan selling souls. Big Mom would play it to Emu.
Like it's a trippy moment with that or that whole part. And that's one of my things about that was when like Kuma sent him flying. Did he like just crash through the ceiling and just arrive there, and they just thought they summoned him?
You said Kuma went flying?
No, when Kuma sent Brook flying, because remember, like they did it like
Oh,
when
yeah. Sorry, what about
like
that?
did he like crash through the ceiling into that building, or did he
No,
just
no, it was actually outside.
ah? So I think they did. They think they portrayed it in the show in like a house. Am I correct?
That's weird. I look at the manga all the time. It's out. Maybe I don't know.
That
It's outside though in the manga.
that makes a lot more sense if it's outside, because then it's a lot easier to fucking show that way than show it like inside a hut. I'm correct.
Actually, wait. It might be inside. Actually, oh shoot, it is inside. Whoa, my bad, my bad.
Well, that's just weird now, because like did he just had like was the door open and just something flying right through that way, or was it?
No, no, I was wrong. My bad. It is in the building. You can see the broken roof. Before it pans
Okay, cool,
to Brooke.
cool, cool. Okay. That's good. At least it's a broken roof type of thing. Okay, cool. So that's my one thing I was like wondering about, because like after you brought up that he got summoned there, I'm just like did he get sent through the front door, or did he like bust through the roof?
Nah, he busted through the roof. But yeah, that whole context when you look at how they're speaking and like they're wearing like the goat heads, like the goat sheep kind of heads, and they're talking about selling their souls, making us selling their souls for like their hearts and their bodies to Satan, and like they're trying to do a ritual, but and, like they couldn't actually do it. And then when you look at the big symbol in the middle of the floor, it's exactly like the symbol that we see in the Room of Authority with the Gorosei. It's like 1 to 1. And then again, just when you think about all the connections between not only the celestial dragons but Emu to the devil and just like
Did,
satanic culture, it's like the same thing.
did you all notice the different pentagrams between the Holy Knights and the actual Gorosei?
The what between them?
So like if you go look at the summoning circle, it's different between Gorosei and the Holy Knights.
I know that there was a number
They
difference,
don't
but I
have the
didn't.
numbers, but other than that, I'm not.
Yeah,
I guess there might be. I
Other
don't
than
know.
that, but it doesn't look like they don't have that mark. They don't have that mark for it.
Yeah, because the Gores are a higher thing. They're higher up,
yeah,
and they have numbers. Like Saturn had 5, so I'm guessing Garling has 5 now, probably.
yeah, yeah. The
Since
five's
he's
probably related exactly to the Gorosei.
That makes a big question now. Does Garling like get his mark removed now, or is he like get a new mark?
Probably a new one with 5.
maybe it's just an upgrade or something. Like the mark just changes, or
He might get like a new initiation or something where he has to take off his clothes and I don't
So
know.
I did have one funny thing there. Like when we saw that whole when Shanks pulled up on Wano and pulled out his sword and all that stuff to release his hockey. Ever notice when he pulled out his sword, that's when the hockey got released in a sense? I'm just like, and we know that now it's named Griffin, and we know that there's the other one called Cerberus, and all that is his twin brother's one. And we also know that the giant robot in Egghead was able to hold hockey a long time and all store that. I was thinking about like, can swords like be stored with hockey that way, like Conqueror style?
Didn't we kind of see that with Enma already? Or
it's
am I?
into that certain metals can not. I don't. Maybe swords as a whole, if you're a master of hockey, maybe, but it seems like certain swords have special properties, like Zorosuke Tetsu and Enma and stuff have special properties.
I feel like every Supreme Good is gonna have some kind of special element to them, given that
That
they're
might
all
be.
stronger than Enma.
But I'm not sure if the reason Shanks held his sword to do the hockey was because he had stored hockey. I think it might have
No,
just.
I
I
don't
think it
think
was
that
more
either.
so due to his fighting style because he uses a sword, that is his fighting style. So
Yeah. Well,
his natural intuition or instinct of using hockey is through his sword as a channel, just like Zoro or Mihawk or anybody else that uses a sword. Whereas if it was Luffy, I don't think Luffy has learned how to do that kind of a built technique yet, how to use hockey in that way yet. But
mhm.
if it was Luffy doing it, he would probably make a fist and then project it off of his fist or something if he was to project his hockey miles away, because he's a brawler. That's his fighting style, you know what I mean? So that's intuitively how he would use hockey, I guess.
Well, what I was referring to that was the idea that like everyone has been having the whole theory about Shanks being a rat and all that the longest time before we found out he was a twin. The reason why I was saying that one was because like the whole idea that he was being a fake, that actually isn't his hockey that he uses when he fights. It's his swords and all that because of his royal bloodline and all that. And it's like how the royal bloodline, as we have like we seen Charlos and like the other one that was decided to stand up and fight Charlos later on. They're not considered like super strong and all that, and they like are really weak and all that. And their whole like almost all the bloodlines of the holy well anyone from Mary Joie are considered weak in a sense. Like only the obviously the Holy Knights and the top like and even obviously Gore say are the top dogs.
I
Anyone
don't
else?
think it's like his bloodline. I would say my friend has a theory that he has really gifted, like he has really potent hockey because of his bloodline, but I wouldn't say it's like he's like, oh, because of his bloodline, his sword gives him like hockey or something or
Well,
whatever.
he uses the
Yeah, I
hockey from
mean,
the sword.
it
That's what I'm
Like
referring
it would
to.
be
like
his natural hockey for sure. Like he
Yeah.
has extreme talent and stuff. Even Oda said that Shanks was the only one in the Roger crew that could replicate the divine departure from Roger, so that shows like a high gifted, like he's really gifted. And then on top of that, like him being able to like go toe to toe with Mihawk, um, who's the world's strongest swordsman, really skilled, really powerful guy. Um, like he was kind of en route to surpassing Mihawk, but then he lost his arm. So, and that arm that he had was the one that he was really skilled with. That
Yeah.
was his dominant arm, and he lost his dominant arm, so therefore he lost all that skill, all that training, all that time. And like if he wouldn't have lost that arm, he would have way more skill now, built on whatever he already had. But instead, he had to readjust and relearn with his other arm and build that connection with his brain, like in the past pathways. So by now, I would say that his skill should be back to what it was in his other arm, but like he would have had more if it wasn't for that.
so
But
like
no, he's yeah. Go ahead.
on the
What you saying,
topic of
people?
like on the topic of like hockey and bloodlines, I mean it's really strange because like you do see like some type of influence on like a son or like a grandson in terms of hockey, but then by the same token
Mhm.
like hockey is like directly like translated from like willpower and spirit, so like that seems a
Yeah,
bit separate from flesh and blood. So I don't know, that's definitely a
yeah,
really interesting thing
true,
to think
true.
about because like you could argue that like okay, well maybe like I don't know, someone's will or someone's blood affects their persona, and given that their persona might be more influenced to dig deep within their soul, that might be a thing. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I wanted to talk more about that.
With hockey, I do think like okay. I mean, there does seem to be somewhat of like an, as they say, a nepo thing, where it's like a little bit of a correlation between the genes and like passing down. There does seem to be somewhat of that, but it's not like exact, because like Big Mom has tons of kids, and only one of them has confirmed to have Conqueror's hockey. So if it was like purely, oh, everybody you have, like every time you have a kid, it's gonna have Conquerors, that wouldn't be the case. But um, yeah, no, I would say there is somewhat of a connection there, but it's not like exact. You know, it's not like 100%.
Yeah. Pearson asks, who is stronger, Fujitora or Zoro?
Fujitora.
For me
Zoro's not
personally,
admiral level yet.
Zoro's not on that level yet.
I personally have Zoro like in the tier with Fujitora, but lower down. Like I narratively I can't see Zoro being above him yet, just based on the narrative of everything. But I think post Elbaf Zoro is another story. Like I kind of feel like Zoro will equal or slightly surpass Fujitora by the end of Elbaf or post arc, like after everything's said and done.
Who would he fight to gain that level of power though? That's not
It,
no one
it
really is
I'm
portrayed
not sure,
on that level.
was
but
Holy
there's
Knight
so
left.
much of the arc left, so anything can happen. So we'll just have to
Yeah,
wait and
yeah,
see.
that's true.
So for that thing for Fujitori there, I think technically Fujitori is stronger, but it's going to be more like a Katakuri fight with Luffy, where it's like Zoro will win and it's be like more like he's willing to be okay losing.
I also have Fuji, Tora, and Greenville below the original three admirals in power, and I
Yeah,
also think Akainu
definitely.
has grown. I also think Akainu grew stronger from fighting Whitebeard
Wait,
and Kuzan. So like,
wait.
yeah,
Why is Fujitora below the original Admirals?
just
Admiral.
based off like the vibe, the narrative portrayal, and just I don't know. I mean, a
I
few
don't
things.
really see any
I just
portrayal lower. Like he's just less aggressive than Akainu. But we know
like yeah,
like
we haven't seen his ceiling,
he
but I don't believe that. Like obviously, Akainu has to be the strongest based off of the narrative.
I mean he's
Like,
narratively the most important, but not necessarily
So
the strongest.
I might have to go with SL on this. So this is like a tricky one because if we look
Mhm,
back to the beginning of Long Ring Longland, they did say
mhm,
Robin said that the admirals are generally equivalent, and she never said three. She said the admirals, and they were considering the fleet admiral is still an admiral. But given the context
mhm,
of Akainu and like where the story's heading, I'd probably think that Akainu is stronger than the other three admirals. But I wouldn't say like,
mhm.
oh, it's a 1 day battle. It's probably like still like a week long of
Yeah,
battling.
Yeah, I
I
say
agree with that. I agree with that line of thinking in the sense that like yeah, he's way more narratively important. So him being stronger does make sense. But like I just feel like obviously the 10-day fight and then the fact that like Kizaru didn't really want to be fleet admiral. He wasn't really put forward for it. And then like when we talk about betrayal, when Oda confirmed that Fujitora had a supreme grade blade, like the same as like Whitebeard and Roger and like
mm,
Mihawk, it kind of made me like it changed my view of him as
view
a character.
well, we haven't seen the full showcase for Green Bull or
or Fujitora.
Fuji,
Yeah, that's
so
definitely
it's hard
definitely.
to fully say where they are. But I think that at maximum, no matter where they're at, I would still see them below Kizaru, Kuzan, and Akainu. And we haven't seen Akainu fight since like really since pre-time skip, and I definitely think he grew. And even with like the Kuzan fight, he had mercy on Kuzan, like he could have killed him
Mhm.
if he wanted to.
So
So it's like, you
when you
know,
said when you say below Kizaru, are you still saying that it's like relative, like it's extremely
well,
close?
Yeah,
the whole thing, like, yeah, it's a close fight, but like here's the thing, like we don't know if any of them have awakening. For all we know, all of them could have awakening, or three or two or four of them could have awakening. Like Oda hasn't revealed if any of the admirals have awakening yet. I do think they do, like, and I mean people say, oh, Akainu and Kuzan because of the Punk Hazard thing, and
I think
that's fair.
for sure for Punk
Because
Hazard
of the
first.
Punk Hazard thing.
So we haven't seen their like full power yet, technically speaking.
Wait, are you? I'm sorry, I lost track. Were you saying that in terms of Conquerors or Awakening?
In terms of
Awakening.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, I see that. Yeah.
But now then there's the discussion of like, will Akainu ever get like, will he have conquerors and will he get advanced conquerors coding and stuff, like that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, like
Mm.
maybe I feel like he has a higher chance to have awakening than that though. I think it's pretty much almost a guarantee he's gonna have awakening, but conquerors coding is a little bit of another discussion. But having both combined would be like a big upskill for Akainu for sure.
So
I
the
think.
one thing is I need to know for when we finally get awakenings for Logias and all that stuff, if losing a body part can be reformed permanently with the like other part like become an actual bone again. So like there's an X-Men in Marvel Comics, that Iceman and all that sort of power similar to Kuzan but way OP in a sense. There's a scene where he actually gets decapitated in his ice form and his body gets shattered and all that, and his head's only left over. All his ice gets melted and gets drained away in a sense. He gets revived basically because people are like literally spitting on him in a sense, and then like he drains like the spit of one person, and then basically the other person he like drains
Oh
her
my
whole
God.
like moisture, and then basically reforms his actual body from ice, and then turns it actually into actual bones again.
That
That's
author is freaky. He drinks the
That's crazy.
spit.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, X Men's pretty freaky, but that's side of the point. The thing is with Kuzan, remember when he has Punk Hazard fight, he lost like his leg
Well,
in a
to be
sense.
fair,
and it's all
Kuzan's
ice now.
Kuzan's
So
power isn't actually technically ice; it's cold. So he just makes ice from like manipulating cold temperature, pretty much.
It's not ice,
But
it's
yeah,
cold, really?
yeah,
Never
it's
thought of it
actually the
like
cold.
that.
Wait,
It's the
wait, but
fruit.
like cold
The
isn't
cold.
really an element though.
no, it's not.
Yeah, it could just be. Yeah, I don't know.
It
Maybe
doesn't
it is.
really make any
Yeah,
sense
'cause
because like
sometimes,
cold isn't really
I
anything.
mean, the
yeah,
Viz is chilly, which is more so
yeah,
like
chili,
cold, but the
chili.
Funimation is ice. I actually never thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
The
it is a
thing is, the
Loka,
thing
which
is,
is elemental. Like I totally get
Yeah,
that.
it is
But
elemental.
then the Viz calls it chilly. Like the
But
chilly
maybe it's like
chilly.
the element of like cold temperature. Nah, I don't know.
the thing is about that about the name, like Oda sometimes gives weird names to fruits
Yeah,
where
that's
the
true.
name doesn't actually
I
reflect
mean,
the power
exactly.
properly.
Not
Like
literal.
That's a fair
Yeah,
point.
Pearlspell's fruit.
We
that's
just
what.
Pearlspell's fruit is named the Lick Lick fruit, even though like it's a candy. Paramecia is called the Lick Lick fruit
we also just
in the
had
Because
kanji.
yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, like
We're
characters in the story most likely named it that anyways, right? Like it's not like a god in the One Piece world was like, all right, this one's called that, this one's called this. It was probably like, I mean, they literally test on devil fruits. I do want to say really quick though, guys, we'll probably wrap this up in 10 minutes. So if you guys have
Oh, yeah.
any final takes, questions, theories, whatever it is, guys, this would be the perfect time.
Do you all think Gunko is a former revolutionary army man and all that, or she's secretly a spy? Because that's the hat with goggles theory.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be really really
I don't
fun,
know.
super interesting. But then I look at Kid, I'm like, well, he has a hat or like the little
Yeah, he has
goggles,
goggles
so
as
I don't
well.
know. Like it's
Well, it
possible,
would
but I wouldn't
be.
shut it down.
I don't think she's like a spy, quote unquote, because that would be kind of dumb if
Mm-hmm.
they know the revolutionaries if they couldn't be like, oh, she's they. I feel like they would have enough intelligence and knowledge to know that the
If she was a
correlation
spy, yeah.
and everything else. Like, I don't think they would get like fooled by that, so to speak. But I don't know. She could, but then there's the idea that she was a revolutionary in the past, but got like corrupted or something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would
Looking
probably make more sense.
looking at
Maybe.
it from a different angle, I like that, by the way. Looking at it from a slightly different angle, I do find it like interesting that like of course you have like the Marines of One Piece that serve the world government, but then you have like the Holy Knights. Knights are generally like they go to war and they're like a members of an army, right? So
Mhm.
do the Holy Knights, are they gonna line up with the Revolutionary Army? Like, is that gonna be some of the final fights that we see? And then maybe that could introduce like a former Holy Knight that left the Revs. Like I've been really like playing around with that kind of angle rather than like Revs go against the Marines, because it is the Revolutionary Army and then the world government has the Marines. But I think like the Holy Knights might be more fitting, because when you think about the Revs, like you could say, yeah, they have soldiers all around the world. I totally get that. But by the same token, when you look at like the main members of the Revs, it like would outweigh the amount of admirals there are. But then when you look at the Holy Knights, I feel like that'd be more fitting for like a Holy Knight versus Revolutionary Army battle towards the end of the story. I want to know what you guys think.
I really think
Yeah.
it's that, or it's gonna be the Shanks' crew. The parallel, just because of how they started off with saying, "What do you think we are? Saints? No, we're pirates." And all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really silly to bring that up from that
To,
background, bring it full circle in a sense.
to be honest, like I completely agree that the Revs and the Holy Knights they're getting a lot of setup. And
Yeah.
like I just think that the whole contrast between the Supreme Commander of the Revolutionary Army Dragon and the Supreme Commander of the Holy Knights Garland, I think there's a Oda setting up a parallel between those two. And obviously I think Ginny is gonna play a significant role in that beef, because obviously some people believe that Shamrock or Garland is actually the father of
Yeah,
Bonnie.
yeah.
So
It's most likely
obviously,
the case. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that take.
so and that's the thing. Like we've never seen Dragon angry, and that specific thing would make Dragon more angry than we've ever seen him. So like the
I mean,
Garland or Shamrock would be would like they would be the target of Dragon's like anger more than anybody, if you get what I'm saying.
I mean, Dragon was kind of angry when he was angry when he found Sabo's body in the water. He was
Yeah.
angry for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I still am kind of holding out to my belief that the Holy Knights might also have a lieutenant rank, like just one final rank. Like, 'cause we have Captain, Supreme Commander, and then I think the third down would be Lieutenant, and then everybody else just normal, like just regular Holy Knights.
I
But
feel
I think
like Gillingham is that like would be
The rookie.
like no. I feel like Gillingham is like what Gabon was like for the Roger Pirates. Like I think Garland is like obviously a counterpart to Roger, and then Gillingham is like a counterpart to like Gabon or like Rayleigh. Like given his age, he seems to be around the same age as Garland. Like he seems to be 60, 70 based on appearance, which like establishes that he was alive and active during the Rocks era. So like I don't know, his aesthetic reminds me of Garland a lot. So
So
I
like
feel like he's yeah.
Killingham and possibly Summers would be the wings of the Holy Knight Supreme Commander.
I'm
That,
mixing them up. I'm referring to Summers, like the old looking guy.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
he's
keep
like
saying
yeah,
Gillingham.
because I know you're saying
you
like the
can. I
counterpart
always
to
get
Gabon,
confused.
because you say the
Yeah.
counterpart to Gabon, so I'm thinking like, okay, well, is there another wing? So that's why I'm thinking like,
Yeah,
so let's start here. Do you think there's two wings? Because that sounds like what you're kind
yeah.
of alluding to, right?
Like actually, I do actually believe that. Like I believe the woman that was next to Garland in God Valley is gonna be one of like the main people, and I also think it could be Summers, like the other person. I'm not too sure,
Okay.
but I do think that woman that we saw in the Kuma flashback is a very significant hole in that. The one we saw.
What if Mihawk was because Mihawk was like 4 during God Valley because he's 4 years older than Shanks. They have the same birthday, and Shanks was a
Yeah, he
baby.
was 4 year.
So what if Mihawk was like at God Valley, like he was a citizen of that country, and then what if they turned him into a slave? Like, there's a lot of theories that he was like a slave, and then they they made him a holy knight because they recognized his talent and his like and everything, and his like special eyes and everything.
that's
And
how I think he met Shanks and all that. When Shanks went back to the Holy Land there and all that to go meet his like dad, it was roughly before the end because like the execution, they were both there, so it had to be before that execution and all that. And even they say like, well, Roger told Shanks beforehand, before he was considered locked up away, that he was like his family line was there at Mary Joie, because like Mihawk would have his blade in a sense,
yeah, and
and
like and Gunko seems to be a holy knight that wasn't a saint because she never had the saint title, and neither did Shamrock, by the way. So he might be like
Really?
No,
half. Yeah, Shamrock
Shamrock
never
did
had it.
have the same
No, he
title.
didn't. No. You can go look right now. He never had it.
Wait, that's kind of
Uh,
crazy. I'm gonna
yeah,
go check
Shamrock
that.
did.
Wait,
Garling did, but not Shamrock. So people think that
Huh.
Shamrock and Shanks might be half Celestial and half something else.
Huh.
yeah, that's the
That's an
theory going
idea
on
that
with that.
people have. Now it could be that Oda just forgot or he just chose not to show it and omit it. But that's kind of odd because with Garling he did. He had all the titles combined with Garling.
Yeah,
Like he had Supreme Commander of the Holy Knights and Saint and all that combined when
real.
Garling was revealed.
Yeah,
So it's kind of
Wow,
odd that
that's a good
Shamrock didn't have
point.
that.
That's a good
yeah.
point. I
But
feel like if I wow, sorry, come on. That's interesting.
but
I
no,
didn't
I was just
realize
saying, because
that.
like Gunko didn't have it, and then
wait.
also we know Loki wasn't a part of the Celestial family, and they were inviting him to be a Holy Knight. So we know it's confirmed 100% that you can become a Holy Knight without being a Celestial, even
Yeah,
a halfway
Yeah,
or
that's
like.
true. That's true.
that's
So
what
But
it's
like,
very possible that Mihawk became a Holy Knight, even not being a Celestial.
So are you holding to that he is one or he was
No,
one?
I'm not 100% holding to it, but I do kind of like the idea that he became like he was a holy knight. Like they basically groomed, like Garling, so to speak, groomed him in combat and like swordplay and in becoming that. possibly.
then
Like that's the running idea that a lot of people have.
I
And
agree with
then
that
and
idea.
then I kind of think that if the lieutenant thing is a real rank, like if there's actually a lieutenant rank that we haven't seen yet, maybe Mihawk was that rank at one point prior to him leaving the Holy Knights. But that being the connection between Shanks and Mihawk could be a thing, and we know that Mihawk and Shanks are tied together in the story. Like Oda has very clearly tied them together, and people like to deny that or run away from that, but it's just a fact. And like he doesn't have any other ties to any other really prominent figures like that, or Yonko or whatever you want to call it. Like Shanks
So
doesn't have any other ties like that.
so with my theory for that is like as you were saying, how Mihawk went to the Holy Knights and was training there to be considered a Holy Knight there. That's how he got his sword. And at the same time, that's when Shanks shows back up and basically introduces him to the life of freedom in a sense. When Shanks leaves and doesn't become like follow his
But
footsteps, which something that Mihawk would probably like think about and say you should follow your path because this is your lineage, you follow down your line type of thing. And Shanks like, no, I don't give a fuck. I don't go like flying F what happens and all that stuff. No,
okay, but like the thing is, we know that Mihawk, he was already making a name for himself before the Great Era of Pirates. So he was 16, 17. No, I think 20. Yeah, he was around 17, 18, already making a name for himself and already traveling around. So like I don't really think he was part of the Holy Knights. I think he was just traveling around looking for Marines or powerful swordsmen. Because obviously Oda said that Mihawk, he holds a grudge against the Marines for doing something to him. So
Yeah.
like I don't
Well,
actually like the
that could
celestial dragons, like they wouldn't really be holding a grudge against Marines since they control Marines and Marines have to follow
he's
their
not a
orders as
celestial
celestial
though.
dragons. So I feel like you just had a normal upbringing and just wanted to become the world's strongest swordsman.
Well, we don't know what he's quote unquote has against him, but if he was like at God Valley or was a slave or whatever, then became a holy knight and all this other stuff. Like there's so many possibilities for that.
Wait, but
He would have
like if he was a slave at God Valley, like he would hate the Holy Knights even more than he hates Marines. So why would he join them? Like
he could have been
just
forced
doesn't
to. I
really
mean,
add up.
there's a lot of possibilities. Another thing though is people notice with his dialogue, he talks similar to the Celestials because they call people insects, and when
yeah,
Mihawk cut down people on Marineford, he's like, I don't remember the face of every insect that I
yeah,
crush or whatever.
or even the
And
same
then
line.
Yeah, that's true. That is
Zoro,
That's a
true.
good
But like
point.
it's
and then Zoro too, when he fought Zoro, he said, I don't use a cannon to hunt rabbits.
yeah, that is
First,
true. But like it's a very different context to what like the way Mihawk's using it and the Celestial Dragons. Like the Celestial Dragons call people insects. Like we had the girl Celestial Dragon in Shibodi was calling people insects and stuff. Like
Yeah.
even though like she's not really strong at all. Like but then Mihawk is
But
calling people significantly weaker than him. He's
yeah,
not saying they have little value because they're not of a certain blood. He's talking about their strength.
yeah, of
So
course.
the context is very different than the
I don't
Celestial
think
Dragons.
I don't think even if he was a holy knight, I wouldn't think that he was like on the same type of energy as them, like killing people and like hunting people and stuff. I wouldn't think he'd be interested in that at all.
I
He's more
think he
interested in
personally was
combat
trained like
rather
a
than like, oh, just kill a bunch of like weak people. Like that would be kind of crap. But yeah, but I was gonna say like with him traveling around at a young age, he could have been a holy knight while traveling around, or he could have already left the holy knights at that age by the time he reached that age, like of 17-ish or somewhere in that ballpark. But yeah, it
The
does say in
thing
the
is,
chat.
though, like even if
It,
that was the case, like we have Saint Homing, Doflamingo's father. They regularly bring up the fact that he left the Holy Land as if nobody ever does that. Like so, a 17, 18-year-old kid, well, young like teen, leaving the Holy Land by himself. That would be pretty crazy to think about when
mhm.
like just
but
they would it feels like it would be alluded to and mentioned more when
but
every time he's on screen.
the
Well, it
the
seems like
Doflamingo family is a royal family. Mihawk's not considered royal, so
He
they would
wouldn't
not
be
even think
celestial.
about
All
that.
right. All right, we're
Wait,
gonna
wait.
we're gonna hit one more super chat. Then I really gotta wrap it up. So I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
Each
yeah.
one of you guys, take a moment or two to respond to this super chat, and then we'll wrap it up here. But thank you, King J.
Sure.
God bless for the 100, brother. He says, "Do all holy knights possess conquerors like Gorsei? Because the summoning circles released black lightning. Gabon called the
Definitely not.
hockey strange. Emu question mark."
Definitely not. They definitely don't all have
I don't think
conquerors.
so.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it's the tattoo that does that, if anything. So it's like almost like stored hockey in a sense. Like the tattooed is a burden that was given up by someone higher order, and it's like imbued with hockey, some shit like that.
I like that. So I think you guys, I'm sure you guys agree with what JK just said, but I really love how JK put it because I feel like to say it's not Conquerors hockey is cope. Like I think that's coping because it clearly is Black Lightning. You have characters in Egghead that literally looked at the Gorsei summoning circle and they said in the officials, "Is that Black Lightning?"
Mhm.
So it most definitely is Black Lightning. So the real question is
Mhm.
like, okay, they have Black Lightning, but how is that manifesting? And JK says maybe the mark or something from Emu. I really really like that take.
Yeah, it's definitely not like they all individually have it, I don't believe, but it's something going on with hockey. But everybody calls it like a strange hockey. But yeah, I agree.
Because
It's something else going on for sure.
by that
Something else.
same token, we look at Emeth. He undoes a knot, and then there's a hockey blast, right?
Right? Like there's got to be stored hockey. There's got to
Yeah,
be somewhere,
maybe
and
in the
like
mark.
potentially, like everyone's been saying that Shanks had that left arm with his mark on it, and I'm just like, that's like the weirdest thing to think about. If he had like left arm eaten away, I still find it funny because I called it. I was thinking about that. Like when Luffy fell in that water, he said, "Save me," and there's a Sea King out there, right there, like chasing him. What that was, I said that like earlier there in the theories there. What if it wasn't trying to say like kill him, was trying to save him and bring him right to Poseidon ahead of time? Because already knows about the fruit in a sense. They talked about Poseidon before even being born. You know, so they must know other things. Like,
All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I want to thank you guys for being in the VC Elite One, JK, and SL. Lots of good conversations and points. I agreed with like pretty much everything you guys were saying. Even when it became a little bit of a debate between the admirals, that was pretty fun. But I just want to thank you all for being here. Much love to all of you. God bless all of you. I will be catching you guys in the week of 11:43, which would be March 16th to March 22nd. There won't be any streams next week because it's a break week and I'm gonna be out. But guys, make sure you pray for me. I'll be praying for you guys. Pray that my plans are solidified. Pray that my plans are within God's will, and pray that I have safe travels. I'm going to be traveling a lot. I want to thank you all for being here. Just not only with the super chats and the donations from Real Blackbeard Propagandist and L and Simon and King J, but just even being here, like chopping it up about the One Piece, debating the theories, the takes. It's always so much fun. It's lovely. It's the greatest gift in the world. So I hope you guys stay safe. I hope you guys stay healthy. Keep your guys' chin up. We will be back with 11:43, the long summary when that's out. Maybe sooner. I don't know. I'll see what I can do. But all of you take care. I love you all graciously, especially the ones that hopped in VC. So of course, shout out to Elite One, JK, and SL. Have a good night or morning. Have a good morning, day, or night, everybody. Peace, everybody.